The village of Gokul was a place defined by its devotion. At its center was a child named Krishna, a figure of immense charm, yet one who presented a strange contradiction to his neighbors. Despite being deeply loved, Krishna had a recurring habit that frustrated the local households. He frequently, and very quietly, took the freshly made butter from their kitchens. This behavior creates a question for those who revere him. If Krishna is an embodiment of divine wisdom, why is he celebrated for what looks like a simple theft? Why do millions specifically worship him as Makhan Chor, the butter thief? For the women of the village, the question was more practical. Every morning they brought their grievances to his mother, Yashoda, describing how their hard-earned butter had vanished once again. Yashoda saw these acts through the eyes of a parent. To her, there was no hidden meaning. It was childhood mischief that required a firm hand and a clear explanation. To address the complaints, Yashoda realized she needed to look past the act of taking and understand the motive behind it. She began to look at her son's play through a different lens. When Yashoda finally asked Krishna why he took what wasn't his answer only deepened her confusion. He told her that he only entered the homes where the butter was crafted with genuine love. This suggested that the physical butter was only part of what he was looking for. Think about the effort required to produce butter. It starts as simple milk, requiring hours of rhythmic, focused churning to separate the cream and transform it into something solid and pure. In this tradition, that laborious process mirrors the way a person refines their own heart through discipline and devotion. The butter is the final, purified result of that inner work. When Krishna takes this butter, he is demonstrating a divine acceptance of that effort. He isn't taking a food product, he is receiving the devotion that the villagers poured into the churning process. However, even if the theft is an act of spiritual acceptance, it still leaves the question of what happens to the butter after it leaves the kitchen. To see where the butter was actually going, Yashoda decided to follow Krishna quietly as he moved through the village. She discovered that little Krishna wasn't just hoarding the butter or hiding away to eat it all by himself. Instead, he was surrounded by his friends, laughing as he distributed the butter among them. He even shared the portions with the village animals, ensuring that the stolen resource was spread as widely as possible, leaving no one hungry. This stands in direct opposition to the human tendency to protect and accumulate whatever we find valuable. Krishna was treating a prized resource as something meant for immediate communal benefit. By watching him, Yashoda saw that Krishna was dismantling the idea of ownership. He was replacing the concept of mine with a cycle of constant, unconditional sharing. Yashoda stepped forward, her intent to discipline him replaced by a profound realization. She saw that his mischief was actually a demonstration of total selflessness. The lesson was simple. When something is given with love and then shared with others, it moves beyond being a mere object. It becomes a sacred act. The paradox of the butter thief is resolved here. True fulfillment isn't found in the security of what we keep, but in the impact of what we give away. After this, the daily complaints in Gokul transformed into a sense of collective joy. The villagers began to see their empty pots as a sign that their devotion had been accepted and shared with the world. This story challenges the modern emphasis on individual wealth. It asks us to consider whether our own butter, our talents, our time, or our resources is being stored away or used to nourish those around us. It suggests that spiritual wisdom doesn't always arrive through grand gestures. Sometimes it is hidden in the most basic, everyday acts of kindness. We find the joy we are looking for when we